Daniel had planned the evening perfectly. Candles on the table, soft music playing low in the background, and a recipe he had practiced twice already, timed down to the minute. Tonight was important. His friends were coming over, and for once, he wanted everything to feel impressive, even effortless. As the sauce simmered on the stove, Daniel hovered nearby, stirring constantly, checking the clock, and adjusting the heat. His mind was racing ahead, a whirlwind of anxieties. Will they like it? Did I add enough seasoning? What if it's not as good as last time? The pressure was building, a self-imposed demand for perfection. He was so focused on the future, on their reaction, on the imagined success of the evening, that he wasn't truly present in his own kitchen. Then, the smell hit him sharp, bitter, acrid. His heart dropped. He rushed to the stove, and his worst fears were confirmed. The bottom of the pot was blackened, the sauce thick and scorched. He scraped at it desperately, trying to salvage what he could, but the burnt taste had already permeated everything. It was undeniable. It was ruined. Daniel just stared at the pot in silence. For a moment, a wave of hot anger flared up at the stove, at the recipe, at himself. He pictured his friends arriving, the disappointment on their faces, the awkward smiles, the quiet, polite judgment. All that effort, all that planning, all that stress for nothing. The perfect evening he had envisioned was now a smoldering wreck. His first impulse was to hide it. Maybe he could order food, pretend this never happened, and maintain the illusion of control. But then he stopped. He took a breath. The kitchen was quiet except for the soft music still playing, unaware of his internal turmoil. The candles flickered, casting a gentle, forgiving light on the scene. Daniel exhaled slowly, a long sigh of surrender. There was nothing left to fix. The dinner was burnt. Fighting reality wasn't going to change that. Arguing with what asterisk is asterisk was just a recipe for more suffering. He tasted the sauce again, this time with a different kind of attention, not with judgment, but with simple awareness. It wasn't perfect, not by a long shot, but it wasn't completely inedible either. It was just burnt. In that moment of acceptance, a small space opened up. A space where he could choose his next move not from a place of panic, but from a place of honesty. When his friends arrived, instead of a frantic cover-up, Daniel greeted them with the truth. "I tried a little too hard," he said, managing a small, sheepish laugh. The dinner's a little burnt. He braced himself for the reaction he'd been dreading. But it never came. Instead, they laughed with him, not at him. Their laughter was warm, understanding. "Join the club," one of them said. "Last week, I set off my smoke alarm making toast. They ate anyway. Someone made a joke about smoky undertones. Someone else reached for more bread to scoop up the less burnt parts of the sauce. The conversation flowed easily, unforced, and warm. It turned out, nobody was there for a Michelin star meal. They were there for him. They were there for each other. None of the flaws that Daniel had been so terrified of seemed to matter to anyone but him. Later that night, as the plate sat empty and the candles burned low, a quiet realization settled over Daniel. The meal wasn't ruined by its imperfection. In a strange way, it was saved by honesty. By admitting his failure, he had invited connection instead of judgment. In trying so desperately to control the outcome, to create a flawless experience, he had almost missed the experience itself. He had been so caught up in the asterisk idea asterisk of the evening that he had forgotten to simply be asterisk in asterisk it. The Zen lesson arrived gently, not with a gong or a thunderclap, but in the quiet aftermath of a burnt dinner. Life does not demand our perfection, it only asks for our presence. It asks us to show up as we are, flaws and all. The struggle, the resistance, the anxiety that all comes from our attachment to how we think things should be. When we let go of that, when we accept what is, we find a surprising amount of peace and freedom. The next time Daniel cooked, he paid less attention to the clock. He focused more on the sizzle of the onions, the aroma of the garlic, the feel of the spoon in his hand. He wasn't striving for an outcome. He was engaging in a process. And you know what? The food tasted so much better. How many of us are like Daniel? We spend so much energy trying to curate the perfect life, the perfect career, the perfect family photo for social media. We're so afraid of our burnt dinners, our mistakes, our vulnerabilities. We think that if we show our imperfections, we'll be judged or rejected. But more often than not, the opposite is true. Our authenticity is what allows people to truly connect with us. It's in the shared stories of our burnt dinners that we find community and realize we're not alone. So maybe the goal isn't to avoid burning the dinner. Maybe it's to learn how to laugh about it afterward. It's to accept that things go wrong, plans fall apart, and we are not always in control. And that's okay, because perfection is an illusion, but connection is real. Presence is real. Letting go is the key that unlocks the door to both. What's a burnt dinner moment you've had in your own life? A time when things went completely wrong, but you learned something valuable from it. Share your story in the comments below. I think we could all benefit from hearing them. Thanks so much for watching, and if this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more thoughts on finding the lessons in everyday life. See you next time.